Well, hey everybody, it's 3 p.m. and it is time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. So happy to be here with all of you and to have all of you start joining me. We have so many members in our Gather with Nanny Bubby group, and so I encourage all of you to share that with your friends. Go over to the group. We've got a lot of wonderful things happening there. A lot of people are commenting, a lot of people are showing their pictures. A lot of people are showing everything that is happening this amazing springtime. So hey, Cynthia, how are you? Thanks for joining me. Hey, Nancy Holland, thanks for being here as well. So today we are making fruit compote. And I found this, I'll tell you, I woke up at 12 o'clock midnight, Friday over Saturday, and I could not get back to sleep. And I literally laid there until 4:30, almost 5 o'clock in the morning. However, I tried to go back to sleep for about an hour, and then I decided enough of this. And I had just started a master class, one of the master classes that's being advertised with Alice Waters, who is just a very, very famous chef. She has a restaurant in San Francisco called Chez Panisse, and I'd never heard of her before. But one of the things that I had learned about her is that she coined the term from farm to table. And I just found that to be so interesting because I had no idea that somebody had actually coined that term and was getting credit for it. So I began watching her masterclass. And so from about 1:15 in the morning until about 5 a.m., I was watching of 17 episodes. I probably watched at least 10 of them. And I was so inspired that I spent the entire weekend just cooking everything that I saw her do. And one of those things was a fruit compote. So you may recollect that I have given up sugar. I gave it up in 2020, and then I caved in about midway through the shutdown because it was like an old boyfriend that had showed up at your door. It was like, just maybe it'll be better this time, right? And then you take them in, and then you're like, oh, why did I do that? That never worked before. It's not going to work again. Well, that's what happened with me and sugar. Thinking back more than 40 years ago about the old boyfriend. Um, but I I had that same reaction with sugar. I go forever and a day without doing it, and then I broke down in the middle of 2020 and had it, and then I regretted every minute of it because I was sick for 3 days. And why did I do it? So I, of course, sprung back and I didn't do any more sugar until the holidays. And that also was like the bad boyfriend. It just never has a good effect for me. So at the end of the day, I am committed to 2021 and I have done no sugar now for all of this year. But I do like things that are sweet and flavorful at the end of dinner. Something about your blood sugar rises to a certain point and you just have to satisfy it. And so this fruit compote that Alice Waters did, I thought was just phenomenal and so simple and so easy to do. You could use it for lunch with a little bit of cottage cheese. You could use it as a dessert, even for a really fancy, entertaining dinner. To not put out a dark, rich chocolate cake would be okay, and to put out just this simple fruit compote would be just fabulous, or just to take along with lunch for the day. So if you're ready, and people have started to find us now, if you'd like, I think we're going to get started. So this recipe starts with, I'm just going to show you this. Let me see if I can, sorry about that, get this turned around. Okay, there we go. Working that camera again. Sometimes I get all in the story and forget about how to work the camera. We're going to start with two different kinds of pears. So what I found is that this red pear, hey Joy Gallo, so nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us. This red pear I'm starting with, and also this brown Bosc pear. Now they both have different textures in that the red pear is a little bit softer and a little bit juicier. And then we've got a pink lady apple. So we're just going to slice through these in just the way that you would slice for anything you're doing. I'll just tilt this camera down just a little bit. Let me pull this out. Oh, you're welcome, Joy. We're gonna top this off with raspberries and mint. I posted the ingredients before we hit the air today, so I'm hoping you had a chance to see it. And that's so gracious of you to thank me, Joy. Thank you so much. So if you're ready, let's start cutting. Let's get cutting so we can get cooking. Okay, so we're going to slice down around the core in this particular situation. Just slice so that we've got the core done. There we go. And that goes into our little compost basket, which I forgot to put out, but I'll gather it up a little bit later. I'm thinking about actually getting a compost bin, which I do not have. But the more I learn about it, the more interested I've become. And even us as home cooks can be sustainable in what we do and how we do it. So I was very excited to learn a little bit more about composting. Now I'm just taking out the core on this. Also today, I had a meeting with an organization called Home Gardeners, and they are going to come out and start helping me with my home garden, my victory garden, as I like to call it. And they also have a nonprofit that they work with, or they are a nonprofit. They have a nonprofit division, and the nonprofit division plants gardens in inner city schools and other places around the community for young people to take part in. And that happens to be a passion of mine. And I was looking for something to connect with so that 10% of my profits from Nanny Bubby Enterprises would be able to go to facilitate building gardens in inner cities, parks and schools. And really it occurred to me that it's not just the inner city children who don't really understand ground to table, from up from the ground to the table, but so do suburban kids. They really don't understand it. They're no better off than the inner city kids, honestly, unless their parents have a victory garden in their backyard. So we're going to be connecting, and I'm really excited to be able to take my passion and take whatever 10% of my profits and give it to helping out in that capacity, and not to mention that they would like to have a cook come and teach these children what to do with what comes out of the ground. So I am today so inspired about that. So if you like that idea, give me a thumbs up, give me a one, give me whatever you can give me. I think that's so great. So, okay, that's news from Nanny Bubby today. So let's, I know, Cynthia, I know you love that. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to slice these in just thin slices. Get a hold this. Got to watch your fingers because sometimes these are not so stable, but just thin, long slices, just like this. And we're just going to throw them right into the bowl. Okay? And slice down. Now on these, the red pears, for color, I'm going to leave the skin on, but when we get to the Bosc pears, that skin is a little bit tougher. And so those pears we're going to peel. So into the, there we go. Oh, that one's a little unstable. Let me be very careful here. My husband gets so nervous when he sees me using a knife, and he's probably watching, and he almost can't handle it. He gets so nervous. It's kind of cute because one time he was watching a video replay of my episode on Channel 8, and he stopped. He said, "I can't watch this anymore. I'm so afraid you're going to cut yourself." And I said, "That was 2 days ago. I'm sitting here in front of you. I was okay, right?" Ouch. That time I wasn't. Okay. So anyway, he gets so nervous. He can't even watch it in a replay. So I thought that was cute. He's so funny. All right. So there we go. Okay. Now we're going to peel off the skin of the Bosc pear. Now I have brought down with me, Cynthia will probably like this, but this is peach plum jam. It was canned in August of 2020, and it was canned for me by Full House Farms. Is it Full House? I can't remember what it is all of a sudden. But Cynthia canned this for me and gave it to me when I was visiting in September. And our glaze that we're putting over the top of this starts with any kind of jam or marmalade that you have. And using a low sugar jam or marmalade is definitely the way to go. But also, as you start to work with it, you want to make sure that you are working with it when it's room temperature. You full house Fallbrook. Thanks, Cynthia. You cannot use this when it's cold because it will not dissolve into what we're going to make, which is the juice of an orange. So I was sure to take this out several hours ago to make sure that it got room temperature. And we're going to be working with that in just a moment. So I'm really excited to bring that to you. So let's just peel off this Bosc pear. Again, this is the brown pear. The great thing about these is that they're very, very hard in texture. You bite into them, they're somewhere in texture between an apple and a and a pear, a Dijonjo pear or a red pear. And so it's always great to combine textures, I always find. So let's just peel this off. There we go. We're going to want to get the core out. So I will tell you, I was so inspired. I spent a sleepless night enjoying myself tremendously. And when I did fall asleep, I was dreaming about all the wonderful things I could do when I woke up over the weekend. And I did. I cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked. One of the things that I loved about what she did is she explained that in Italy, they are forever just sauteing their greens. And I have so many greens out in the garden right now that are coming to the end of the season. And when Garden Farms came out today, they said, you know, you're at the end of the season with the Tuscan kale and the collard greens, and the curly kale is going to be done. And so it's time to just pull it out and do a complete harvest. And so I was so excited because just sauteing greens with garlic and salt and pepper just was so inspiring, and just serving those greens. And she gave a wonderful hint. She said, with some of your tougher greens like chard or collard greens, you want to boil them just for a few minutes and then saute them. And so I did that, not imagining that it would actually work out because I have such trouble with the sauteing, especially of chard. But when you parboil it first or parch it in boiling water first, oh my gosh, what a beautiful difference it made. So it worked. So I'm probably going to be doing that tomorrow for all of you. Stand by. Stand by for that. I'll show it to you. So just again, just cutting these in small slices, the way that we did the red pears. Off we go. Get rid of that core. And I feel like I should have French music on in the background. Cynthia says that I grew the peaches and plums on the farm. I know that you did. And I am going to have nectarines and plums that are blossoming out back. Do you think I could make a nectarine and plum compote, or not compote, but jam or marmalade? And does anybody know the difference between a jam and a marmalade? Anybody know that difference? I actually do not. I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure. So let's cut out this core right here. I don't like why I'm doing that. Let me just slice through it. There's a better way to do this. It feels safer to me. Okay. When I know my husband's watching, I get nervous that he gets nervous, so I don't want to do anything that makes him nervous. So I kind of back up a little bit. So somebody Google that. What is the difference between jam and marmalade? They say marmalade has less sugar, but what is that definition specifically? Can somebody Google that and let us all know? Everybody's here. Okay, let's cut through this right here. Get all those seeds out. There we go. Okay. Sometimes the hardest part is actually getting the core out. There, popped right out. Okay, so we're almost done with the slicing, and then we're going to start with the juice. So watch what happens as we juice. I have my handy dandy little juice man juicer with me that I adore. My son used to go to school with his son, and we went over there, and I met this man, although at the time I really didn't know who he was, and nor did I care. He was married to a much younger woman and had a very young son. I think my son was only in first or second grade at that time. But anyway, he was very interesting. Kind of reminded me of Jack LaLanne a little bit, if you guys all remember him. So let's see, Roseanne said jam is made from whole or cut up pieces of fruit with sugar, and jelly is made from only the fruit juice and sugar. Marmalade, look at Roseanne go here. Love this woman. Huh, I can't see more. I'm trying to see what you said. I can't get it to see more, Rose. Oh, there we go. Um, Marmalade is preserves made with citrus using the whole fruit along with the rind. So marmalade is not made with sugar. Is that right? It's just made with citrus juices. Am I correct in how I interpreted that, Roseanne? Let me know. And anybody else chime in? Okay, almost done with the apple. You are not going to believe. And by the way, this makes a great late afternoon snack as well. So you could put this in the refrigerator, and if it doesn't go all at one time, which Saturday night I said to the boys, I go, I've got dessert. And they were like, oh my God, really? Because I never have dessert. That's how I interpret it too. Okay, good. All right, so look at this. You see how beautiful this is, the colors. You've got the red pear, the bright red apple, pink lady apple, and then the Bosc pears, there's really no color. They're just kind of blondish. Okay, so let me just give my hands a quick rinse. There we go. And now we're going to juice the orange. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. This is from Full House Fallbrook. Thanks to Cynthia. I love this. And we're going to pull out, look at this, about a tablespoon or so of the peach plum jam. Okay. And it is nice and soft, which is good. Okay. And I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of water, just a little bit of tiny drop of water. And I'm just going to temper this before the citrus gets in it, just to thin it out just a little bit. There we go. Can you see that? And there is sugar and marmalade. Okay. All right. Well, we're not eating fudge chocolate cake here. We're eating everything made from the fruits of the earth. So it can't be all bad. Okay. So there we go. So I've tempered that, made it just a little bit less uh, solid, just to ease it out just a little bit. And so stand by for my juicer sound here. Let me put this under here. There we go. It's not too bad, is it? It's a very quiet one. My mom is here. Hey, Mom, how are you? Glad you're here, too. Okay, hope you had a good rest yesterday. Okay, look at that juicer. Look what that does. Isn't that amazing? Got a little bit here left to go. Let me see if I can get that out. Okay, there we go. And let's do the other half right here. Can you see this? Let me turn you. If you can hear it, you might as well see it, right? That is very good, Cynthia, to use half the sugar. That's really good. Okay. I think we could all use a little less sugar, really. And I think that I'm just wondering if, Europe uses sugar in their jams and jellies. I feel like they might just let the fruit do the talking for itself without adding all kinds of sugar and everything. Okay, so now stand by. I just want to show you this. I am just going to turn this spout just a tiny bit, and I'm going to just put in a little bit of that juice. Wasn't that so cool? And I'm going to temper this again. There we go. So that it dissolves together as one. There we go. There we go. Okay, and again, and up. There we go. That's it. So now you can see that the jam and the juice has truly become one. Isn't that fantastic? So what I'm going to do now is we are going to pour just a little bit of this. What's really great is that the acid in the orange juice will keep this just going to drizzle this on just a little bit. It'll keep it from turning it brown right now as we finish the rest of the dish. And then we'll add just a little more juice, which I'm doing right now. There we go. Ooh, all over myself. Okay. Okay, so let's get back to this now. Now, we're going to take this, and the next thing we're going to do is we are going to chop up the mint. So this just was cut out of my garden just a half hour ago. I went out there at 2:30 and got this fresh mint, which I love. And I'm going to just take, that's such a beautiful flower, isn't it? I'm going to use that just to stick right into the center of the entire thing, just like that. When we end this, I'll put it off to the side. And I'm just going to take all of these leaves and bring them down one by one. And we're going to chop this fresh mint because we're going to, oh my gosh. It just looks so, it's so fresh. And I tell you, 2 weeks ago, there wasn't any. It was almost dead from the winter. And then all of a sudden, the sun and the warm days over 60 just got just beautiful. And look how beautiful and green they are. Isn't that just gorgeous? Just so gorgeous. It just blows my mind. And actually, I kind of like this little flower better, so I'm going to cut this and set it aside and use this one instead because I think that's a prettier flower than the first one I chose. So there you go. Okay, so just a little bit more, and I think that's going to be about it. So we're going to take this because everything looks better with a little bit of green on it. So when it comes to dinner and making dinner, like chicken dishes, in order to make them look a little bit just richer and ready to eat, you can sprinkle on chives, sprinkle on parsley, sprinkle on cilantro, but if you do, I don't want to know about it. Don't tell me. And rosemary, all of those beautiful basil, all of those beautiful green herbs. And on fruit, mint is the thing. Sometimes oregano and basil could do fruit too. Mostly basil, I think, even over oregano, but I love oregano. And just a little bit of oregano with the mint, you can barely taste it, but it does make a difference. So, okay, so this is all nice and chopped. And what I'm going to do with the rest of this may surprise you. I'm going to take this mint right here, and I am going to put it right here in this little tea kettle, whatever you call it. I don't even know what this is called. I think I do know. I just can't think of it. Oop. And I'm going to put these leaves in. And I'll tell you something else. These are the leftover leaves from Saturday night when I made this fruit compote originally. And I'm just going to throw them right in here as well. I'm going to boil some water. And when the show is over, I'm going to sit down and have a really great cup of hot mint tea along with my fruit compote. So how do you like that? That's pretty good, right, guys? Look at how this is called Vadham, Vahdam, Vadam. And I did get it on Amazon, Vadam, and it's a tea. Tell me what this is. Hey, Arlene. Oh, I know that you're going to make this. I love that. The tea or the fruit compote. There we go. Isn't that fantastic? And this is just mint tea, just fresh out of the garden. It's just amazing. What a way to have a great afternoon relaxation. Okay, so next step. Here we go. All right, so look at this. This has got I'm going to just mix this with my hands because you can much more easily get all of this blended. You can truly, and you can see just the little dots of the marmalade that are just catching onto the fruit. Looks so beautiful. I'm going to give this another little stir and just pour and drizzle. The really great thing about this is that it's not thin, but it's not thick. It's just with the marmalade in it or the jam in it. It's just the perfect texture. There we go. Leave that on top. And now we're going to take these beautiful strawberries and we're just going to drop them on top. going to put one in the chef's mouth, maybe two, huh? So good. And here is that little stem that I told you I was going to just sink right in the middle. Hold on. There we go. Look at that. You see that? Look at that. With that in the middle. And now we're going to take a little bit of this and just sprinkle it on the top. And there you have it. Look at that. Is that gorgeous? Give me a 1 if you think this is as gorgeous as I do. Isn't that fantastic? You can cover this, put it in the refrigerator. You can cover it and leave it out, room temperature. You can eat it now, add to it later. It's absolutely fantastic. And I hope you enjoy that. So Joe Perez is watching. Hey, Joe. Tom Roberts is watching. Hey, Tom. Yep, Roseanne, raspberries, not strawberries, right? Right, these are raspberries. But I'm guessing, listen, if that's what you have in your refrigerator are strawberries and not raspberries, then by all means use the raspberries. I think that it's the red that just brings out the beautiful color. So whether they're raspberries or strawberries, I don't think it matters. I think if you got some blueberries, it makes it all just work, and it's so beautiful. And that is today's show. That is, hey, Teresa, glad you're here. Oh, did I say strawberries? I'm so sorry. I have strawberries on the mind. Let me tell you why. I walked out into the garden today with garden farmers. Um, yeah, I think it's garden farmers. I think that's their name. I always forget what their name is. And I said, "Is this a weed? Because it looks good, but it just whatever that is, or is that just left over from the sage?" And she goes, "That's a strawberry plant." And I'm like, "What? A strawberry plant?" I never planted strawberries in this garden. So somewhere, like maybe someone was eating a strawberry and threw the stem into the garden. I have no idea. But there is the most beautiful strawberry plant right in the dead center middle of the garden. So we're going to play with it for a little bit, see where it goes and see what it does. So I thought that was really kind of funny. So that's it. This is your fruit compote. I wish you were all here with me. I'm going to boil some water, make some mint tea, and have a little late afternoon snack. And I would invite all of you to go to nannybubby.com/spices, download the free Happy Spice Cabinet. It is our first in the series of our Happy Kitchen. Happy Refrigerator is to come next, and then Happy Pantry. And join us every day at 3 p.m. where it's always time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. Love you all. And remember, on the count of three, 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. Thanks, everybody. See you tomorrow. We're making Moroccan chicken. I will post that recipe later today or tomorrow morning. Bye.